What's going on, everyone? So, in the third installment of Scream 3, we got the full circle. Roman Bridger was involved all along, right? And one of the things about this upcoming Scream 7, a lot of the talk from the beginning is like, are they going to do another full circle thing? I pray and I hope for the love of everything that they don't do another Roman's identical twin brother. Like, I hope it's not another brother's cousin's nephew's uncle that comes out of the woodworks, or Sydney has another brother and it's like, dude, how many secret kids does Maureen have? Like, like at some point it starts to get a little ridiculous. I hope they're a little more creative, a little more well thought of than that. And also it begs the question of like, will this really have a full circle tie? Like, will this not necessarily full circle like from the beginning, but like that this has a connection to Sydney in the past to some capacity, some degree. A lot of people really want Stu Macher to be alive and return, and maybe he is, right? Maybe that is the connection. But one of the things that with this installment, this would be the third installment in the new kind of, Scream ethos, the modern era. Also, these people have been very, you know, uh, not shy about replicating many elements of the past Screams. I mean, it's basically been modern versions of Scream 1, 2, and now we're in Scream 3, right? You got the boyfriend Billy arc, and then again, and then you got the family, the parent revenge arc, and then do you get some long lost character? Here's the thing, and here is part of my concern. Obviously, look, execution, deliveries, everything. I'm gonna be hopeful. I'm gonna be patient. I'm willing to see how it plays out. But my concern is that they do something where Sydney ends up, it does end up being a family member or somebody of the past that's just like, huh, like that just doesn't make sense, right? But we appear to get confirmation in the trailer of it being somebody from the past, somebody connected to the past, because you know Ghostface, paraphrasing, but something along the lines of like, oh, and your lovely daughter, really reminds me of us when we grew up, type, where we grew up. There we go. It was where we grew up, right? And that would allude you to somebody from the past. Now, it is very possible it's not somebody from the past, and they're just making a connection to Woodsboro, right? We see, Stu's house being burnt to the ground. Maybe it's somebody that just wants to move off of the history that is Ghostface and Sydney, right? Maybe the town of Woodsboro, the families, or her family or his family had been have had to deal with like the implications and stuff like that, and it's just like, it's just all this chaos, right? Like maybe Woodsboro's kind of become this like shithole since, over time, because, I mean, you have the Airbnb with the Stu Macher house and all that stuff, right? Like there's so many different angles that you could take with it if you wanted to be creative and kind of come up with a unique perspective and idea on why Ghostface is involved, right? They kind of want to lead you to believe that it's somebody that is from the past and connected to Sidney Prescott because of, like I said, the where we grew up type thing. And it's like, okay, so is it a Stu Macher? Is it a Leslie Macher? Right? Is it like a Christina Carpenter type thing? Right? She had a kid with Billy. Maybe they're bringing that back, and it's the connection to the, and that's kind of how they, have the connection to the Carpenter sisters, right? Instead of trying to pretend like they don't exist anymore or anything like that. It's just like, my daughters abandoned me. I don't know where they're at. Now I'm coming for you type thing, right? Like there's a lot of different kind of directions and angles that they could take with this. I hope it's a little creative, right? My concern is that it's going to be just like, it's like a brother's, cousin's, nephew's, uncle. Like I said, I think you could go a very unique approach with the kind of Leslie Mocker route, right? Because I think you could set up Ghostface as this, as Stu Macher. and kind of play into everybody wanting or not wanting Stu Macher, and you have people that just kind of give this roller coaster throughout the film, and they kind of lay the breadcrumbs and make you believe that Stu Macher is alive, and it's like, okay, so we're getting the Stu thing again at the end, and then in the end it's not Stu, it's actually Leslie, right? And the breadcrumbs and connections would make sense for her as well, right? And no, I've even talked about, like, you could even do something to where, you know, you kind of get the best of both worlds, right? So, like, what if you did something where, you what if you did something where Leslie Mocker is the breadcrumbs, you lay the foundation, you lay the breadcrumbs, and then those end up leading into Leslie Mocker. You think it's Leslie Mocker. People that are big Stu fans, they're all disappointed because they really wanted it to be Stu and it's not Stu, and they're just like, oh, this movie sucks now because they didn't get Stu. But then at the end, it's like, haha, it really is Stu, right? Like, and that carries into Scream 8. Like, I don't know if Scream 7 will be fully conclusive because we already have Scream 8 greenlit. We already have Scream 8 ready to go. You got to imagine that even if they had a conclusive ending to this particular Ghostface and this particular Scream arc, that there would be some type of, open-endedness that would lead into the next film, right? Like, you could have, like I said, the Leslie Mocker story and the Leslie Mocker arc, kill Leslie at the end, Stu pops up, all the Stu stands are super thrilled and super excited, and then that now will lead into Scream 8, but you also laid the foundation and groundwork because, you went the Leslie Mocker route. So Leslie could kind of lay the clues for Stu, is what I've talked about. But, just in general, look, I just want a good movie. I really just don't want to keep rehashing the same old nonsense. Right? Can we just get a new creative perspective, a new creative idea in the realm of Ghostface? Right? Can we get a new kind of creative just perspective of this story? My concern is that they do just kind of do like the same thing all over. It's like, here's another Scream movie all over. Like, here's Scream 3. You didn't like the remake to Scream 1? You didn't, oh yeah, well, you didn't like the remake of Scream 2? Well, here's a remake to Scream 3, right? Like, that's what I'm hoping doesn't happen. But anyways, always, this is a discussion. Pass question to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments. What do you think? Phil, what are your thoughts? Do you think that they go the Scream 3 route? Do you think that there is a connection to the past? However you feel, whatever your thoughts are. Either way, I'd love to hear it. So let me know down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. So we enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe channel. What are you doing? Hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one.